Roni is not an artist who normally accepts these kinds of commissions. This is something special for Castello di Ama. I think when she first visited, she immediately understood the nature of the place, what Lorenzo and Marco have been able to achieve here, the wine, the landscape, everything, how it all fits together. And this inspired her to make her own contribution to the art project here. Roni Horn is an artist who is celebrated for her conceptual rigor, for the poetic resonance of her work, and for her range of formal invention. And as such, she doesn't easily fit into many of the categories of contemporary art. She's interested in presenting an unmediated relationship to the world, to things, to objects in themselves. And Roni offers a kind of a broader meditation on sexuality and identity, abstraction, and our relationship to the world. In the work that Roni has created for Castello di Ama, she has cited a site-dependent sculpture in one of the more remote corners of the Villa Ricucci. She selected a room that is actually quite simple and modest and intimate to create an encounter with one of her glass sculptures. Well, Roni, as an artist, is not interested in material as such. It's not that she's interested in glass or gold or lamb's wool or whatever because of her fetishism of the material. It's more that this permits her to set up an encounter with the viewer so that we, in ourselves, when we perceive these things, are thrown back upon our own identity. It makes us question our own relationship to things and how much we really know about them. We have different perceptions of the same object depending on when we see it. For example, in the work here at Castello di Ama, the glass will look very different depending on the time of day and season of the year in which you see it. Roni has exhibited glass pieces before, but she's never cited a piece specifically in Chianti. And so the light of Chianti will, to a certain extent, form a dialectical relationship with the glass piece. In a way, it means that the work is always open and metaphorically changing. Roni is at pains to explain that glass is a supercooled liquid. It's actually not a solid. It appears to be a solid because it's been cooled down to this level. And as a result of that process that Roni has used to create this sculpture, it has taken the shape that it does. It has a kind of oculus on the top, which when you get up close to it allows you to see into the depths of the glass element. And this is a way of it's almost a refreshing of our vision of the world. We're seeing something that's used every day. Glass is something that we all know from a window or a camera or any kind of day-to-day object. But Roni has presented in a way that actually reveals perhaps that we don't really know it the way we thought it did. And Roni is always interested also in these ideas of a kind of doubled identity, so that we see something and it has another identity that's perhaps hidden within it. For example, in the color of this piece, at certain times of the day it's almost completely transparent and it seems to be quite clear. It's a very pale, pale white. But then at other moments the light activates and we begin to see this ghost of blue that slowly suffuses not just the piece itself but also the room, which extends the piece beyond its actual physical limit. And I think that this way, when the spectator is in the room with the piece, we also become part of it. We also become part of the total meaning of this encounter. There are the objective factors, the objective components of the work, the glass, the light, the room, our presence in the room. And then there's the subjective dimension as well. What does it make you think of? Glass is something that it's quite metaphorically open. It suggests many different things. There's a subjective side as well, which Roni leaves open again for the spectator. She doesn't want to tell us what to think or what it should make us, what sorts of associations we should have. There's a kind of generosity in Roni's vision that I find very appealing. The piece is very precisely placed. It's slightly off-center in the room, and the fact that you have to step down through the door to get into the space also makes you more aware of this, let's say, irregularity, that it makes us more aware of our own bodies. And this too is activating a different kind of awareness when we look at the work itself. To me, this is like a fragment of a celestial body. To me, it could be like the moon. It seems like something that Roni has brought something from outside that's, completely, almost an unknown object and put it in a very domestic space. And there's a tension between the architecture and the piece that I find very, very powerful.